Today is Wednesday. It is June 29th, 2022. It is day 345 of web development, and today I am going to now start the tutorial that I wanted to start, which is Python website full tutorial, Flask authentication, databases, and more by Tech with Tim. I mean, I did start it 2 days ago, but then I realized I have no idea how to set up a virtual environment, and so I spent I think a total of 4 hours figuring that out over 2 days. Actually, no, never mind. But yeah, 4 hours. It was a struggle. It was, but I figured it out in the end. Thanks to God. I can't even speak. So I even went to make multiple virtual environments, which was very exciting, but that's besides the point. Now I'm actually going to start again. I'm going to start over. I'm just going to start from the directory structure, and then I'll see what I can do from there. So let me open up VS. Oh, that's my Blender stuff. Sorry. Okay, save. All right, so let me open up VS Code. And now that I'm not rendering anything, maybe it'll be a little bit faster now. Not that I know that it has any connection, but whatever. Okay, so I need to go to a new window. Just close this one out for a second. And just open this up here. Alright, so I'm just gonna go here. I believe that, hold on. He has a few stuff going on here. I'm trying to see which folders he makes. I forgot. Let me just. Is I'm gonna open up my command prompt and I'm going to make that from there because I feel like it's easier. Let me think. Create a new directory. So, okay, so I'll do make virtual environment and I'll call it Flask web application. Is that what he said? Flab. Wow, Flab. Wow, sorry, that's great. Flask web application. Flask app tutorial. Tutorial. Okay, Flask web app tutorial. Tutorial. Alright, and then from there he opens up a few folders there, which I could do through VS Code. So that's good. Alright, okay. So I'm going to do that, press enter, and that should create my... I messed up. I created a virtual environment instead of creating a directory. That's great, sorry. We love being smart. Okay, let me go open this up again. And this time I'm going to do mkdir for make directory and call it Flask web app tutorial. And then a subdirectory or file app already exists. Really? Oh, so I'm gonna have to name it something else. Flask web app. Let's say version 1 or like v1 because I for sure know I think I'm gonna start doing this again. Are you serious? A subdirectory or file Flask already exists. Make directory Flask web app. There we go. So I'm assuming I can't do any spaces. Flask web app, and then I'm going to do change directory to Flask web app. And so inside that directory, I'm going to make a virtual environment, and I'm going to call it, let's say, Flask. Flask web env, or Flask. No, let me do web env. Web. Let's just do project one. Project. One env. Alright, so I'll wait for that to happen. Okay, so now, because I use the virtual wrapper, by the way, if you're going to use a virtual wrapper to make a virtual environment instead of Python, you have to pip install it first by doing pip install virtual wrapper and then -Windows if it's Windows. If it's Mac or Linux, then you just do pip install virtual wrapper, and then you have to do it also in the global environment, not locally inside any other virtual environment. Okay, and then as you can see, if I use virtual wrapper, it activates for me, so I don't have to activate it myself. And then let me think. Let me drink water for a second. Okay, so now that I'm in here, I have everything set up. I'm just gonna go here and I'm going to open my folder, and I'm gonna go to my C drive. I'm gonna go to users, which is where my directory is. I'm gonna try to find it. It should be called Flask web app, right? Yeah, just making sure. Is that what I called it? Yes, I did. Okay, select that folder. Okay, and now I'm going to do Control-Shift. First of all, wait, no, never mind. Hold on. Here, at this point, let me just kind of follow the outline that he has. So he has a folder website. So he has a folder. He calls it website. And then he has main.py. But does he have it inside the website? Yeah, he has it inside the folder. Or not. He has it outside. So it's a file, call it main.py, and I believe in here I'll do Control-Shift-P, and then I'll do Python select interpreter, which is the first one here. And I'm going to select the interpreter that I just made, the virtual environment that I just made. And I believe I called it project 1. So it's project 1 env, so I'm going to select that. So now that I have this selected, any packages that I want to use, I'm going to have to go to my command prompt and download them or install them there using pip install within that virtual environment, and then it would I would be able to use those packages inside of VS Code. But if I were to go to another virtual environment, I wouldn't be able to use those packages because those packages are only installed within that project 1 env or project 1 environment. So yes, so that's that. And then let me cut out of that. And so now let me just kind of go through his folder. So he has a static and he also has a template folder. So static and then template. Did I make it? Can you just, what's going on right now? Delete. Over here. Static. Why is it inside? No, I never said. Oh. No. Why does it keep doing that? Whatever. Static. Oh, I already have templates. How do I get it out of here? I don't want it inside. This is so confusing. No! How do I just make it its own folder? Collapse folders. I love how this is what I'm struggling with. This goes on website. New folder reveal, open, find in folder, copy, file, delete. How did I make this one then? You know what, I'll just do it over here because this is going a little crazy here. So let me go to Windows, C drive, users, Sarai Malte. I should probably organize this a little bit better. I have like things, that doesn't even make sense. This really doesn't even make sense. Where's my stuff? Flask web app here, and I'll just create a static folder here. Okay, so now it should pop up there. Beautiful. And then let me see what else he has up here. So he has static, and then in templates he has init.py. So in templates he has a file underscore init underscore dot py. So he has that file, and then let's see what else he has. Under website, wait, are static and templates under the website? I'm so confused. I think they are. Oh my god, they are. I'll organize it later. Okay, auth for authentication.py, and then models.py. So new file, auth.py, and models.py, where our SQL stuff is going to be. And I believe static goes in website. Yes. And then templates also goes into website. And then main.py goes outside of website. So I'm just gonna go to my files and just do that myself. Just put it in Flask web app. And also let me just do right click, rename, and call it templates, because there's more than one template. Alright. So I think that's what we have so far. Let's continue. New file, views.py. Alright, so then it's views. Py, another Python file. Okay, so I think he starts. Alright, so this is, okay, so this is part 1. So at this point, I'm trying to understand the structure here. So I have my Flask web app, I have my website, and then I have like static and templates. So in static, I don't think he put anything yet, but for templates, we have 4. We have an init.py. So I believe that if you put this file inside whatever folder or directory, that allows that directory to be imported, if you catch the drift. Authentication.py is for the login stuff, models is for the data science stuff, views, I believe, is for the HTML and CSS stuff, and then main.py is for a Python file. Okay. Where's my stuff? Where's the video? Okay, so now he's up to the installation stuff, which I have to do differently because I don't know how to do it here. Yeah. I figured out my own way. Let me just skip. Alright, so I just have to figure out, he installs Flask, SQL Alchemy, and then I think Flask login. To install. Should I do this in my virtual environment, or should I do it in my directory? Alright, so when I pip install, I can't do it in the global environment. I have to do it within my virtual environment. So, but do I do it with, yeah, I do. Okay, so pip install Flask, and that should install Flask in my virtual environment. So we'll wait for that. And then I believe, okay, so that's installed, perfect. And now what else does he install? Flask login. So just pip install Flask login. Okay, so I'll wait for that. What else does he do? So SQL Alchemy. So pip install Flask SQL Alchemy. Hopefully I spelled that right. Beautiful. And now to check if I have oops, I wrote this wrong, so I'm gonna have to do that again. Pip install Flask login. So pip install Flask login, and now to check that all of the packages, or now to check all of the packages that are in my virtual environment, I could just do pip list and it would give me a list of all the packages that I downloaded. So as you can see, I have Flask, I have Flask SQL Alchemy, and I also have Flask login, and then the rest of them should be the dependencies besides, pip and setup tools. Okay, so that's good. So now I can go back over here and I can use those libraries and import them without having any issues. So let me move on. So at this point he's in the init file. So let me go to my init file. Oops. Just go up here. And zoom in here. So from Flask import, let me have this. Oops. Keep that over here so I can copy the video. So from Flask import Flask. So I'm assuming this is a function from, because I'm thinking from pandas import like. From Flask import Flask. So the library, from this library import this function, question mark, or class. I think it's a class. Def create app. App is equal to Flask underscore name. Maybe now that I know a little bit about directories, I'll understand what name means. I know it's the name. You know what? I'm not even gonna get into it. I think it's return app at the end. Maybe there's one more thing here. App dot config secret key. Alright, so let me just try to understand this little piece over here. So from this library, import whatever this is. I believe it's a class because this, I mean, like, look at this. It's giving class, honestly. Let me just see. Let me do some research. So from Flask, import Flask. So what does Flask actually do? Like, a Flask application. Let me do, what is Flask? Is a web framework. It is a Python module that lets you develop web applications easily. It has it has a small and easy to extend core. It's a micro framework that doesn't include an ORM, Object Relational Manager, or such features. It does have many cool features like URL routing, template engine. It is a blah blah blah. Okay. What is a web framework? A web application framework, or simply a web framework, represents a collection of libraries and modules that enable web application developers to write applications without worrying about low-level details such as protocol, thread management, and so on. What is Flask? Flask is a web application framework written in Python. It was developed by Armin Ranacher. who led a team of international Python enthusiasts called Poco. Oh, sounds like Pokio. Flask is based on the Wurzeg. It's giving Swedish. It's giving that show that I watched. It's a Swedish show. What's it called? Ozark. I don't know. Toolkit, blah blah blah. The web server gateway, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Okay, unlike Django, Flask is very Pythonic. I love that word. To create the Hello World app, you only need a few lines of code. This is a boilerplate code example. So from Flask, import Flask. The app is equal to Flask's name. That's how you initialize it. So this is a decorator. So we're saying app root. This is kind of like the link to it. So def hello world app, we return hello world. So if the name of that app is equal to the main file, then run that. If wherever you are is equal to the main file, then run that app. You got it. If you want to develop on your local computer, you can do so easily. Save this program as server.py and run it with Python server.py. Nah. It then starts a web server, which is available only on your computer, and a web browser open localhost on port 5000. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, nah. But, like, what's Flask? Like, the actual Flask thing. Flask for beginners. What is Flask? How you should use it? But, like, what's the... Like, is it a class? Is it a function? Like, can someone tell me talk to me Python, please? When it comes to Python web framework, wow, I can't speak. Frameworks, so Django and Flask are two of the most popular. Okay, Flask is a microframe, blah, blah. How do web, blah, blah, blah. Excuse you. Flask versus security. Let's do Flask. Flask, documentation. That's what I want to know. Flask documentation. Quick start. A minimal application. From Flask, this is what I'm trying to understand here. So, what did that code do? First, we imported the I knew it, bro. I knew it. What was I saying? I knew it was a class. That's what I wanted to know. Was it a class, a function? It's a class, bro. I'm so excited. Okay, so it's a Flask class. An instance of this class will be our application. That's so beautiful. Like, that sentence is just so beautiful. Alright, so, generally... So Python is an object-oriented programming language, right? And so with classes, you can create objects. For example, you can create an object called student, and then you can make instances of that student. So, like, it could be, you can make, like, give that class a few attributes, like, okay, ID number or school or homeroom, and, like, call it class student, and then you can make instances. So you could be like, okay, student 1, and then pass in the attributes that you settled in the as parameters for the class. And so I think it works the same way. So Flask is a class. It's a class Flask, and you can make instances of that class, and you can kind of set up those attributes that are written as parameters for the class, and those instances are your web application. So mine would be, okay, this application is instance 1 of this class, and then the parameters that I put in there, for example, like name, is going to be the same parameters that are set up for the class. So I think that's what it's doing. So first we imported the Flask class. An instance of this class will be our application. So I understand that part. Okay. Next we create an instance of the class. The first argument is the name of the application's module or package. Right, so name is a convenient shortcut for this that is appropriate for most cases. This is needed so that Flask knows where to look for resources such as templates and static files. Interesting. But can't I just literally say website? Because isn't it my website that has all the static and template files? So can't I just write website here? That's the question. That is the question of the year. Alright, So we create an instance of this class, the first argument. So the instance is this, right? So this is the instance when you make classes. For example, if you make a student class, actually I'll show you. I did a student class. When you make a student class, you would make an instance of that student, and then you would pass in the certain parameters. But excuse me, let me 1 second. Can I just log in with, I don't know, I forgot, did I log in with Google or GitHub? My replets. Gross. Templates. Home. I'm lost. Where's my stuff? Hello. See our replets or repls. Okay, so post class. Beautiful. I did a class car, so I guess that counts. So as you can see, I have a class car, and wait, yes. And then I have, it's like parameters. So I have like the manufacturer of the car, the seater, how many seats there are, the color, and then the year of the car. And then I go all the way over here, and you can see that I created an instance of this class car. And so I created an instance, right, of a car, and I called it Honda, and I passed in the class, and I gave it its parameters. So similarly, that's what I'm doing here. So I have a class called Flask, right? I'm just importing that class, and all I'm doing in my file is I'm just saying, okay, my app is equal to the Flask class, and I'm just putting whatever parameters that is in that class. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. Same thing as here. But then the only thing is I don't know what the parameters are because I don't see this part of the code. So maybe I'll be able to see that somewhere. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, but after, I just don't understand why we need to write this if I could just simply just straight up write where the location for all of those files are, which is website in this case, is the folder that holds all the templates and all the static files. Is the name of the application's module or package. Oh, whatever. We then use the root decorator to tell Flask what URL should trigger our function. So in order to run our application, what URL should trigger our function? The function returns the message we want to display in the user's browser. The default content type is HTML, so HTML in the string will be rendered by the browser. Save it as hello.py or something similar. Make sure to not call your application flask.py because that would be conflict with Flask itself. To run the application, use the Flask command or Python Flask. Before you do that, you need to tell your terminal the application to work by exporting the Flask app environment variable. Sure. Okay, so if I go back here, from Flask, I'm importing the class. I'm creating an instance of the class, and then I'm doing app.config. So I'm assuming this is a function or a method. Secret key apparently, and I'm giving a secret key so that way when I want to get in here, I could just use a secret key, and then I return the app. I believe he does that in a second. Yes, I created a function, creates app, and so this function is going to run when I kind of add a decorator here of the root. Let's see, so I believe these are attributes of the class. Let me just check real quick. If I go here to my old code, and I do, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they are definitely, because if I do here like Honda dot like color, it should print out Honda dot color. Well, as you can see, oh, actually I have it right here. So if I run this, it's going to print out Honda dot manufacturer and Honda dot color over here. So Audi 7 Blue 2022. So that's the first one here. So that's cool. Oh no, that's the Honda. Do I have an Audi? Oh yeah, I have an Audi here. I'm in an instance Audi. But yeah, so as you can see for the Honda, I said, okay, print out the manufacturer, the color, and the year, and I can see the Honda, silver, and 2017. So when I have Honda.manufacturer, that's an attribute that was set up here in the class. And so similarly, app.config was an attribute also that is that was set up here in Flask, in the Flask class. So this is an attribute of the Flask class, this config here. So that's that. And then what else? Let me think. And this itself is one of the attributes, but not this itself. It's not literally name. I'm not sure. It could be, but it could be, I think it's called something else, but and I think that's what we put in, but yeah. And if we want to target this, I'm sure there's a name for it. I could do app dot whatever the name of this parameter is, and it should print out that. Let me see. Where's my step? Hello. All right, let's keep on going. Okay, so now we go to main.py. Let me try to see. So he imports website. Oh, sorry, from website. Import that function, create app. Alright, so in this case, from website, import, create app. How can we do this? So because in website, we have this init.py file, because of that, that website actually becomes a package. Oh, that's why it said in the documentation, hold on, that's so funny. That's why I said in the documentation that it is the name of the application's module or package. The website is the package and it is the module because the init.py file is inside that folder website thing. Because think about it, in Python, when we import stuff, we import libraries. And if we import stuff from libraries, we do from that library, we import whatever function or class that we want. And so if we are going to go here and do from website import create app, then this we can think about it as a module or as a library or as a package. I don't know, sometimes there's like libraries, module, I use them interchangeably. I know that there's a distinction, but I do not bother to care. Although I should care. I'll figure it out one day what the difference between each of them are. But I'm just gonna call it package for now. I usually call it library, but I'm not sure. So I'm gonna do package. So website is a package now, even though it's a folder, it's a package because we have init.py file inside that folder, which makes it a package. So now we can go to any file here and we can import stuff from that folder. And so in this case, we're importing this function create app because that's a function that we created here. And so that works out that way. So this is my main.py. And let me run this. Okay. Alright, so let me walk through this one now. So at this point, I created a variable called app, and I set it equal to create app function. And if I go back to my init.py, I can see what that function does. It takes a variable called app, and it just gives it it just creates a Flask application, and then it returns that application. So that's all there is to it. And then if name is equal to main, which that part is what gets to me, I don't know, then run the app. But what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Let's see.
Run this file, not if we import this file, so main.py, are we going to execute this line. To run a Flask application, and then we're going to say if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equals underscore underscore main underscore underscore, and then we're going to say app dot run debug equals true. Now this is as easy as it is to run a Flask application. This will work. We will now have a running web server, and I'll show you in 1 second. But what this line says is that only if we run this file, not if we import this file, so main.py, are we going to execute this line. The reason you want this is because if for some reason you were to import main.py from another file and you didn't have this line right here.
Okay, but here's the thing though. This does not say main.py. It just says underscore underscore main. Like what? Or is that another way? Is this equivalent to main.py? Whoa. So does that mean that this is equivalent to name.py? Question mark? Let me see. Let me do some research on this while I'm here. Say that you remember me, and on a righteous on the sunset bay, red lips and rosy cheeks, sunset bay. What? Can you be a little more specific? Before executing code, Python interpreter reads source file and define few special variables global. Does that make sense? If the Python interpreter is running that module, the source file, as the main program, it sets the special name variable to have a value main, so name is equal to main. If this file is being imported from another module, name will be set to the module's name. Huh. Module's name is available as value to name global variable. A module is a file containing Python definitions and statements, so functions, I believe. The file name is the module name with the suffix .py appended. When we execute file as command by interpreter, print always executed if name is equal to main, print executed when invoked directly, executed when imported. What? Executed when invoked directly, executed when imported. All the code that is in indentation level 0, block 1 gets executed. Functions and classes that are defined are well defined but none of their code runs. Here, as we execute, huh? Yeah, no, I don't get it. Should I include the statement? It's boilerplate code that protects users from accidentally invoking the script when they didn't intend to. Here are some common problems when the guard is omitted from a script. If you import the guardless script in another script, import my script without any, what the heck? Then the latter script will trigger the, no, I don't get it. To better understand why and how this matters, we need to take a step back to understand how Python initializes scripts and how this interacts with its module import mechanism. Whenever the Python interpreter reads a source file, it does two things. It sets a few special variables like name, and then it executes all of the code found in the file. What is my source file? Is it the main.py or what? Let's see how this works and how it relates to your question about the name checks. Okay, let's use a slightly different code sample to explore how importing script. First, suppose the following is a file called foo.py. I love that. Foo.py. Print before import, import math, print before function A, and then def function A, print function A. Print, what the heck is going on? print before function b, and then create a function b, and then print function b. Format math square root 100 should be in here. So print before name. What is this right now? Print. What? If name is equal to main, function A, function B, print after name. What? Nah, he lost me with all this. When the Python interpreter reads the source file, it first defines a few special variables. In this case, we care about the name variable. When your module is the main program, so if you are running your module, the source file, as the main program, so python foo.py, I guess that's the command, the interpreter will assign the hard-coded string main to the name variable. So I'm assuming this is, it says if the interpreter inserts this at the top of your module when you run as a program, so name is equal to main. When your module is imported by another, on the other hand, suppose the module is the main program and it imports your module. This means there's a statement like this in the main program, or in some other module, the main program import. So import foo, which is the main source file. The interpreter will search for your foo.py along with searching for a few other variants, and prior to executing that module, it will assign the name foo from the import statement to the name variable. Name is equal to foo. Okay. It prints the string before input without quotes. It loads the math module, assigns a variable called math. This is equivalent to replacing import math with the following. What? Are you kidding me, right? You're kidding me, right? So main is a variable. I can't do this. What is it talking about, bro? Is that a snake? Oh, it's a Python. That's funny. When a Python interpreter reads a Python file, it first sets a few special variables, then it executes the code from the. They all say that literally. One of those variables is called name. If you follow this article step by step and read its code snippets, you will learn how to use if, but, and why it's important. Python modules explained. Python files are also called modules, and they are identified by the .py file extension. A module can... Oh, interesting. So it's not a module. A module, whatever. A module can define functions, classes, and variables. Interesting. So when the interpreter runs a module, the name variable will be set as main if the module that is being run is the main program. How does it know which is the main program? Like, what? So for me, isn't main.py the main program, right? And so so what is it saying? The name variable, so when I run this is apparently equal to main, question mark? So the program is equal to my main file, question mark? But if the code is importing the module from another module, what the heck? Then the name variable will be set to that module's name. Let's take a look at an example. Create a Python module called file1.py and paste this top level code inside. Do I have to... File1 name is set to... and then format name. You will see exactly what we're talking about. The variable name for this module is set to main. Okay, fine, I guess I'll do it. I guess we're just gonna deviate a little bit today, because I'm really trying to understand this. So let me create a new... Oh, this sucks. Okay, let me deactivate here. Alright, let me create a new directory. So make directory, and I'm gonna call it name demo question mark name demo. Change the directory to name demo, and then create a virtual environment. Do I create a virtual environment or should I not? I don't even know. I think I'm just gonna use normal Python. So I'm just gonna keep it there, and then yeah, I'm gonna keep it there, and then I'm gonna go here, and I'm going to go to file, No, new window. By the way, let me save this. Save as, or I guess not save. I don't need this for now. What was I doing again? Oh, VS Code. Go here, open folder. What did I save it as? Question mark. Name demo, didn't I? Save as name demo. Huh? Don't tell me I made it. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. I forgot to change the directory. Let me just put it back inside my thing. What? What do you mean? Oh, it's open here. Let me close this out. Try again. Thank you very much. Alright, so where is it? Name demo, select the folder, so I should open up there. Alright, so I'm going to do new file, main.py. Okay, so he said, not he, but this person. What did they say? They said, wait, I'm so confused. Go back. Okay. So Python file, one module. So they say, by running this file, you will see exactly what we're talking about. Okay, so let me go here, paste that in there. Close it out. Am I crazy? What the heck did I do? What if I just do this? Alright, what did they tell me to do? Let's take a look at one example. Create a Python module named file1.py. Okay, so let me just go here, rename file1.py, and paste this top level code inside. Okay, so that's what I did. Did I not do that? Hello. Alright, there we go. Okay. By running this file, you will see exactly, okay, so we have to run it. I don't have, Control Shift P, Python select interpreter. Okay, I think we're gonna have that there. What the heck? Oh. Okay, so run this. Alright, so what does it say? Did this thing just open up a command prompt? Where's my stuff? Oh. Are you serious right now? Excuse you, exit. The expression after and in the pipeline element producing on that is not valid. Rude. Why is it not? Hello? Print file 1 name is set to. I don't see it being printed out. Is it because I'm using a different? Oh, that doesn't make sense. Am I supposed to be importing something? Like Flask? No, right? No, it does. Jesus Christ. By running this file, you will see exactly what we were talking about. The variable name for this module is set to main. File 1 is set to main. Okay, I don't see that happening though, so what's going on? Is it because I have to do Control Shift T and add a new interpreter? What is this called again? Let's see. Maybe I'll do global. Is this thing going crazy? Because that's what it looks like to me. It's literally not outputting anything. Hello? If I tell it to print... Oh, what would it do? Are you serious? What is going on with this thing? Can I do anything? Like, literally. Are you serious? What is wrong with this thing? So it only does virtual... This is so irritating. So I guess I'll just do it with the same virtual environment. What virtual environment was I doing? Project 1 ENV. Let me do that. Go here. Okay, so now it wants to work. Ridiculous. Alright, so let me just close this out, run it again so you can see. Okay, so it says file 1 name is set to main. Where does it get main from? Like, what? So main, what is main? Like, literally, print. If I do print main, what is it? No, I don't mean that. Well, what is main, bro? It doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Okay, now add another file, file2.py, and paste this code inside. Okay, so I'm gonna add another file, call it file2.py, and then paste one inside this code. Okay, paste that in there, run that. Oops. Run that. Okay, it says the same thing. Also modify the code in file in one like this. So what? Alright, also modify the code in file1.py like this so we import the file2 module. So if I go here and I go here and I import file2. Wait, isn't it? Interesting. So that's what makes it different. I don't need an init.py for this to be a package because this is just a module we can import also because they're just like Python files with just definitions and classes. Interesting. Okay. Running our file code once again will show that the name variable in the file1 did not change and it still remains set to main, but now the variable name in file2 is set as its module name, hence file2. Alright, so if I go here, I can see that file1 name is still set to main in file. Oh, no, I don't need this. Let me close this out and run this. So file1 name is still set to main, but then over here, what the heck? So confused. File1, yo, what? Can you just please work? Okay, so file1, this still says set to main, but then file2 is set to file2. But that only happens when I import the module into file1. Interesting. So file2 is not its main file anymore, but instead it's file2. But why? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's what I got. But run file2 directly and you will see that its name is set to main. File2 name is set to main. The variable name for the file module that that is run will be always main, but the name variable for all other modules that are being imported will be set to their module's name. Python file naming conventions. The usual way of using name and main looks like this. If name is equal to main, so if the name of the file is equal to main, yes, please. Modify file 1 and file 2 to look like this. So, are you kidding me? File 1, okay, we do that. If name is going to print file 1 executed when ran directly. File 1 this is literally the same thing from the other. I just read this. File 1 executed when imported. Interesting. How do I run a file directly and then not together? Because it's running the two things at the same time. Current file and chapter window. Oh, that's how I do that. Let me just close this out. So I go to file 1 and I do run current file and interactive window. Oh my god, what did I do? What does this mean? Huh? Can you go? Just go, please. How do I clear this? Just get out. Thank you. Run Python file in terminal. Yes, that's what I meant. It's still doing two things. That's so weird. Oh, it's because it's doing file 2 stuff too. But if I just do file 2, let me close this out. If I just do this. Oh, that makes sense. So when I run file 2, it's only going to give me file 2. But because in file 1, I imported file 2, it's going to literally run everything from file 2 along with anything that's in file 1. So not only is it going to run file 1 command, but it's also going to run everything in file 2. So I'm going to close everything out, and you'll see that there's file 1 and file 2 outputs here. So here I see file 2 and file 1. So file 2 imports first, I believe, because goes first because I believe I imported it first, so it runs that first and then runs this. Maybe so, maybe not, I don't know. So file 2 name is set to file 2 because it is not the main file here. File 1 though is set to main because it is the main file. Question mark, I don't know. So at this point, Python module to execute, so import file 2, print file 1 is okay. I don't even know at this point. So this is what in file 1 I have to modify it so it says all of this. So let me bring this down a bit and just run that. So import file 2, print file 1 stuff, what it is. If name is equal to main, then print file 1 executed when ran directly. Else print file 1 executed when imported. Hold on, let me do this again so I can see. File 2 name is set to file 2. File 1 name is set to main. File 1 executed when ran directly. If so, it is equal to main. Oh, and then here, if I do the same, it should print out the other thing because it's not the main. Hold on, let me close this out and run this. File 2 name is set to main. File 2 executed when ran directly. Nah, bro, because I'm confused. But what if I want... What? Again, when running file 1, you will see that the program recognized which of these two modules is main and executed the code according to our first if-else statements. The result should look like this. Whoa, why does it show my face? Gross. Okay, not that my face is gross. I'm so thankful that I have a face. Thank you, God. Alright, next we create an instance of this class. The first argument is the name of the application's package or module. So it's the name, okay, the first argument is the name of the application's module. So, interesting. So in this case, I'm in my, okay, not in this case, where's my actual Flask stuff? So in this case, I am in my main.py. If name is equal to main, so if I am in my main module, then run the app is what it's saying, right? But then, this is because I imported the function from the website. So let me just see what he says again.
It would run pi. Are we going to execute this line? I'll tell you in 1 second. But what this line says is that only if we run this file, not if we import this file, so main.py, are we going to execute this line. The reason you want this is because if for some reason you were to import main.py from another file and you didn't have this line right here, it would run the web server. And you don't want that to happen. You only want it to...
What? Okay, maybe we're going to take this into a 2-day thing because I have a book to read and I kind of want to go to sleep early, which is not going to happen. So, but I still need to read the book. So I'm going to read the book and I'm going to try to go to sleep as early as possible. As early, what am I saying? As early as possible. How does it make sense? It doesn't matter. Anyway, okay, so what am I doing again? Oh yeah, I'm ending this. Haha, so great. How do I save? Close, save. This is what we have so far today. And then this is, I don't really even care about this one. Let me go back to here. This is the data science one, which I'm going to use in a second. And then, did I just close it? Or no? Okay. Okay, that's pretty much it for today. Some learning, exploration. Tomorrow I'm going to continue trying to explore this idea of name. Maybe I should just, you know, I've done this before. Like, I made the mistake of really, like, digging deep into something, and not moving on. Because usually I get things after I practice a lot, and I'm like, oh, that's what this does. I just need practice. I just need to use it in different case scenarios and just try to see, you know, the effectiveness of it. And then I'll be able to figure it out. But I kind of want to do a little bit more exploring and see if there's actually someone who can explain it really well. And if not, by tomorrow, if not, then I'll just go with it and I'll be like, okay, fine. I'm just going to go with it. And then later on, I'm just going to kind of try to see if I can figure it out on myself. What it really, truly means. And I could give like an intuitive explanation. But yeah, that's it for today.